Good afternoon, students. Today's class, I would like to discuss about political science, fifth chapter, judiciary. Dear students, you all of you knows that the different organs of the government in a democratic system. Different organs of the government in a democratic system. So there are three important organs are there in a democratic system, such as legislature, executive, and judiciary. So in this class, we are going to focus on judiciary system. See, judiciary ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಣ್ಮುಂದೆ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಲಾಯರ್ಗಳು, ಜಡ್ಜ್ಗಳು, ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗಳು, ಸೊ ಹಾಗೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಅಪರಾಧಿಗಳು, ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್, ಇವು ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಜುಡಿಷಿಯರಿ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ, ನ್ಯಾಯಾಂಗ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಕಣ್ಮುಂದೆ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾದಂತಹ ಅಂಶಗಳು. ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್ in a democratic system, the role of the judiciary, it is very important. So that's what this is used to called as an umpire. ನಿಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿದಿದೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ, ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಗೇಮ್ ಆಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ whichever it will be the different games, while playing we are actually appointing someone as umpire. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂಪೈರ್ ಬೇಕು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೇಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಆ ಗೇಮ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ತಮ್ಮದೇ ಆದಂತಹ ನೀತಿ ನಿಯಮಗಳಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಆ ನೀತಿ ನಿಯಮಗಳನ್ನ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ನಿರ್ಧಾರಗಳನ್ನ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ಅಂಪೈರ್ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವುದು ಸರಿ, ಯಾವುದು ತಪ್ಪು, ಹಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಗಳು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಜುಡಿಷಿಯರಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದಂತಹ ದೋಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್, ಸೊ ಅಂತವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸರಿ ತಪ್ಪುಗಳ ನಿರ್ಧಾರದ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಯಾವ ತಪ್ಪಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆಯನ್ನ, ಯಾವ ವಿಧದ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆಯನ್ನ ನೀಡಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸಹ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಡಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಡೌಟ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಸೊ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ the others are, I mean the legislature and executive interdependent. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಇಂಟರ್ಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರವಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯಾಯಾಂಗ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಎನಿಹೌ, ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಸೊ ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ದೇಶಗಳು ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನ ಪಾಲನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಳವಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರವಾದಂತಹ ನಿಷ್ಪಕ್ಷಪಾತವಾದಂತಹ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಂಗ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನ ಕಾಣ್ತೀವಿ. See dear students, courts take decisions on a very large number of issues, whatever it may be the issues. So ಬಹುಶಃ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿದಿರ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ, ಒಂದು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹಾಗೆ ನೆನಪು ಮಾಡೋದು, ಭಾರತೀಯ ನ್ಯಾಯ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಸಿಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಒತ್ತಡ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕೇಸ್ಗಳಿರುತ್ತೆ. Even though the courts are divided, that we are learning later, into criminal courts and civil courts, ಆದ್ರೂ ಸಹ ಸಾಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಪರಾಧಗಳ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ದೇಶದ ಜನಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ದೇಶದ ಜನಸಂಖ್ಯೆಗೆ ಅನುಗುಣವಾಗಿ, ಅಪರಾಧಗಳಿಗೆ ಅನುಗುಣವಾಗಿ, ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಅನುಗುಣವಾಗಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗೆ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಬಹುಶಃ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಬಲ್ ಟ್ರಿಪಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕೇನೋ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಬದಲು 2 ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್, 3 ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್, ದಿಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನರಿ ಒನ್. ಸೊ ಈವನ್ ಐ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಸೇ ಎಸ್ ಇದು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಡೆಮೋಕ್ರೆಟಿಕ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ in our own way to get or to find out the solutions to for our problems whatever we are facing. So here courts ಓನ್ಲಿ, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ಮಕ್ಕಳ, ಸೊ ಪಂಚಾಯತ್ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಇತ್ತು, ಜಾತಿ ಪಂಚಾಯತಿ ಅಥವಾ ಗ್ರಾಮ ಪಂಚಾಯತಿ, ಹೀಗೆ ಸೊ ಊರಿನ ಪ್ರಮುಖರೆಲ್ಲ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅಥವಾ ಗುಂಪು ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಅಪರಾಧಗಳಿಗೆ ಅವರು ಕಮಿಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ನೀಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ದಂಡ ಹಾಕ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸನ್ನಿವೇಶ ಇತ್ತು ಮಕ್ಕಳ. ಸೊ ಅದು ನಿಷ್ಪಕ್ಷಪಾತವಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋಣ. It may based on the background of the person who is committed to crime. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಡಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಂಗ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಪರಾಧಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆಯಾಗಿದೆಯಾ? ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಬಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಂಗ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ದ ಸುಪೀರಿಯರ್, ಬಹಳ ಸುಪೀರಿಯರ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳ, ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠವಾದಂತಹ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸಿ they can decide that no teacher can beat a student. No teacher can beat a student. Or about the sharing of river waters between the different states. So ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಸಹ ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಂದು ನದಿ ನೀರಿನ ಹಂಚಿಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಒಬ್ಬ ಟೀಚರ್ ಒಂದು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗೆ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಎನಿ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಅಮಾಂಗ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಗಂಡ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಡೈವರ್ಸ್ ವಿಚಾರ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿವರ್ ವಾಟರ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್, ಅಂಡ್ ಈವನ್ they can punish people for particular crimes also. If the people committed to some mistakes, so the court used to put penalty or punishment in a different way. So broadly speaking, the work that the judiciary does can be divided into the followings. So the work of the judiciary, that's actually we are divided in a different way. So the role of the judiciary in a democratic system is really very, very, very much important, because it maintains the balance between the different levels of the government, different organs of the government, and even between constitution and the government, and between even the people and the governments, different level of the governments. So let us discuss about one by one. So how the judiciary works in a different way. So the first thing, that dispute resolution. Dispute resolution. It is one of the major work of the court. See, the judicial system provides a mechanism for what? It provides a mechanism for resolving disputes between citizens and the government, between two state governments, and between the center and state governments. Central and state government. So, ಯಾವುದೇ disputes ಇರಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳು. So it provides a mechanism for resolving between citizens, or else between citizens and the governments, is if it is there any disputes, and even between two different state governments or more than two state governments, and also if it is there any kind of disputes, conflicts between central or ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಯಾವುದೇ ವಿಚಾರ ಆಗಿರಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ, ಇಡೀ ಒಕ್ಕೂಟ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆನಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಡೀ ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ವಿಚಾರ ಇರಲಿ, ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳ ನಡುವೆ ಇರಬಹುದು, ನಾಗರಿಕರ ನಡುವೆ ಇರಬಹುದು, ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ನಡುವೆ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ನಡುವೆ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಅಥವಾ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮತ್ತೆ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ನಡುವೆ ಇರಬಹುದು. ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳಿದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊ ಅವುಗಳೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಬಗೆಹರಿಸತಕ್ಕಂತ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ is the main responsibility of the judiciary system. ಎಲ್ಲ ತರಹದ, it is including criminal or even the civil or any other administrative disputes. And the second one, that is about judicial review. Judicial review. See, as the final interpreter of the constitution, it is the final one for the constitution. Final interpreter, not ever. See, the judiciary also has the power to strike down particular laws passed by parliament if it believes that these are violation of the basic structure of the constitution. This used to called as a review. Are you getting, dear students? So the judiciary is the final interpreter of the constitution. It is the final interpreter of the constitution. It protects the constitution. Suppose, dear students, if it is any law passed by the parliament and it believes that the law, suppose if it is going to violate of the basic structure of the constitution, the judiciary, during this situation, the judiciary also has the power to strike down whatever the law passed by the parliament. Understood now? ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಕಾಯ್ದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾನೂನು, ಸೊ ಅದು ಸಂವಿಧಾನ ಬಾಹಿರವಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ನಿಯಮಾವಳಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಅನುಸಾರವಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೇ ಇದ್ದಂತಹ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಸಂವಿಧಾನವನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಭಾಗಗಳಿಗೆ ಅದು ವಿರೋಧವಾಗಿದ್ದಂತಹ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ, ಸೊ ಅಂತಹ ಕಾನೂನುಗಳನ್ನ ರದ್ದು ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, ನ್ಯಾಯಾಲಯಕ್ಕೆ ಇದೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ದ ಲಾ, ಇಫ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಲೀವ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ these are a violation of the basic structure of the constitution, that is going to be actually struck down by that particular law by the judiciary system, even if that law passed by the parliament. ಸೊ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತಹ ಲಾ ಸಹ ಅದನ್ನ ತಡೆ ಹಿಡಿತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಅದನ್ನ ರದ್ದು ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಸೊ ವೆದರ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ಸೊ ಅವುಗಳಿಗೆ ಗೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗಿದೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಇನ್ನು ಯಾವುದೇ ಅಂಗಕ್ಕೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆಫ್ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಡಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಜುಡಿಷಿಯರಿ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್. This works very independently, and then where we cannot see the interfere or ಇನ್ಯಾವುದೇ ತರಹದ ಹಸ್ತಕ್ಷೇಪ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಂಗ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮೇಜರ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಜುಡಿಷಿಯರಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಜುಡಿಷಿಯಲ್ ರಿವ್ಯೂ. Now the next one, upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. Upholding the law and enforcing the fundamental rights. See, we know that, dear students, every citizen of India can approach the Supreme Court or the High Court if they believe that their fundamental rights have been violated. Because the fundamental rights are provided by the Constitution and as well as guaranteed by the Indian Constitution. Suppose in case if the citizen feel like that there or his or she fundamental rights violated by anyone, whether any person, whether any organizations, whether private sector or the government sector, even by the government, even by the state or central government, so the person can approach the Supreme Court or the High Court of that respective states. So this it is essential because the constitution is there now. It is actually guaranteed the fundamental rights. We all of you knows that. So there are six fundamental rights are provided by the Constitution of India, and it is guaranteed by the Constitution also. See, already we learned regarding this even in the previous year also. Understood now. So how the Hakim Sheikh, an agricultural laborer who fell from a running train and injured himself, and whose condition got worse, because just you can try to remember what we learned in the seventh standard. In one of the case, what happened? So the government hospitals are refused to admit the person Hakim Sheikh. Somewhere there were no doctors, and somewhere there were no proper facilities, and due to different reason, about 8 government hospitals in Kolkata so refused to take the person who got injured. And finally, Hakim Sheikh was admitted in the private hospital, and afterwards he put a file against the government, and finally, so the court suggested to give compensation for the person. See, this one example, dear students. See, on hearing his case, the Supreme Court ruled that Article 21, which provides every citizen the fundamental rights, especially it's including a right to life, also includes, see, a right to life according to Article 21. So, right to life is one of the fundamental right, and this right to life is there now. It includes a right to health also. It includes right to health also. So, it therefore directed the West Bengal government to pay him compensation for the loss suffered, and as well as to come up with a blueprint for primary health care with particular reference to treatment of patients during an emergency. Are you getting, dear students? So it is about actually the disputes or the conflicts against Hakim Sheikh versus the state government of West Bengal, which is actually taken place in 1996. Because even one of the organization where he was belongs to, or the members of that Paschim Banga Khet Mazdoor Samiti, and this case is well known as Paschim Banga Khet Mazdoor Samiti versus State of West Bengal. So why here the Paschim Banga Khet Mazdoor Samiti interfered? Because his person, the person who got injured, Hakim Sheikh, so he was actually the member of this Samiti. The member of this Samiti. So that's what happened. So the High Court of, sorry, the Supreme Court, so directed to the government of West Bengal to give compensation, and also dear students, to provide as well as in the best way with a blueprint for primary health care facilities with particular reference to treatment of patients during especially an emergency case. So ಅವುಗಳ ವಿವರವನ್ನ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೇಳುತ್ತೆ. Are you getting, dear students? So this actually we learned in the previous lesson, just I remembered in this. So why? Because now the fundamental rights, the right to life, it's including a right to health also. It's including right to health also. So Constitution, Article 21, so it's provided each and everything. I told that. So the Constitution guaranteed fundamental rights. Getting, dear students? So let us discuss What is an independent judiciary? Of course, dear students, we all of you knows that. So, in a democratic system, the judiciary it is one of the independent organ of the government, and which is actually managing balance between the different organs of the government, especially legislature, executive, and also the administrative units, and as well as with people. So, what is an independent judiciary? So, imagine a situation in which a powerful politician has encroached on land belonging to your family. Suppose you can try to imagine like on powerful politicians. Nowadays, you all of you knows that the condition of the, especially the economic condition of the politicians, they are very rich. ಅವ್ರು ಏನಾದ್ರು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜಮೀನನ್ನ ಅಕ್ರಮ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಶಪಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? So within this judicial system, the politician has the power to appoint and dismiss a judge from his office. Actually, who are appointing the judges? The government officials, of course. So who are appointing and who are dismissing? The politicians only. I mean, those who are belongs to different political party, and there is the pressure also. Of course, dear students. See, when you take this case to court, suppose if anybody, if they are acquired your property, your land or your house, so where you are go? You used to go to police station, and even the police station, in the police station also there we can see the influence of the political or the politician. Then we used to go to court. See here, the judge is clearly partial to the politician. The judge is clearly partial to the politician. Suppose again another argument. See, the control that the politician holds over the judge does not allow for the judge to take an independent decision. ಏನಾದರೂ ಜಡ್ಜಸ್ಗಳೇನಾದರೂ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಷಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಎ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ or whether the judges are going to take an independent decision? Can we expect? No. See, this lack of independence would force the judge to make all judgment in favor of the politician only, because he is appointed by the politician. So although we often hear of rich and powerful people in India trying to influence the judicial process, the Indian Constitution protects against this kind of situation by providing for the independence of the judiciary. Of course, dear students, to avoid all these things, the Constitution of India protect against this kind of situation by providing for the independence of the judiciary. So here, the judges, they are appointed by the government also. So they are working very freely. They are not under the control of any politician, any political party. Of course, even they are not under the control of the prime minister or chief minister or president of the country. So they are independent one. So if the judges appointed means, so it is too difficult to remove from their position. So regarding this, I will continue in the next class. Thank you. Have a nice day.